Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Morning, everyone. Welcome along to another session, another Wealth Coffee Chat here on a Wednesday morning, 9th of July, 10 past 8. We are live, that's for sure. I haven't got my coffee yet, but I hope you got yours. I'll be straight out the door after this to go grab one. That's a certain for today. But look, good morning to wherever you're tuning in from. If you're tuning in from anywhere special this morning, give me a bit of a shout out. That chat, always good to know who's online live with us today. But if you're watching this on replay, that's okay. Thanks for coming along and chatting all things property management. And if you don't already know, this is what we do on a Wednesday morning. We get on, we talk all things property management team. It's all about extending that holding phase of your investment journey, that's for sure, because some couple little statistics have been sharing lately, which are quite alarming in my world. But if you haven't met me before, my name's Cass, here to represent the property management team, part of the 6-star collective group. And looking forward to the next 10, 15 minutes with you guys. So listen, if you're up and about, definitely shoot a shout out in the chat, and we'll get on with today. But today I thought, have a bit of a conversation, team, around, ditch being a slumlord and let's be good at landlordship. And where did I get that word landlordship? Well, if you don't already know, there's a little book called The Australian Property Game by the one and only Sam Saggers. And I'm doing a bit of a plug this morning because I've just gone through it myself, and it's an absolute cracker. And you can learn all sorts of things in this book. You can go look at the foundations of real estate investment. You can understand risk. You can look at the psychology behind it all. Basically, Sam shares his 30 years of experience, and it's worth a read, that's for sure. Capital growth strategies, capital preservation strategies, tax minimization strategies. But I want to share some of the content in there from Sam about rental yields and strategies, and this concept of being good at landlordship, because the reason I bring it up is because there's an article I read recently that said 22% of investors sold after 12 months and then 50% sold after 2 years. And I think that's pretty crazy, right? How do you build and grow your wealth if we're in these positions where landlords are actually selling their assets perhaps too soon, right? Because long-term investing is not 2, 3, 4 years, team. It's 15, 20 plus. And that's what Sam shares in that book for his 30 years of experience. So Tanya, first time here. Welcome along. Thanks for coming along. Hope you find out the next 10, 15 minutes. Yes, what we do, Tanya, is every 10 past 8 every morning. Part of the 6-star team will get up. So today's property management. Tomorrow will be financial planning. Then we've got Finance Fridays. So welcome along, Tanya. Thanks for being here. So Landlordship team. Landlordship is about helping you and your property manager actually navigate the rental market, right? Now, if you were there on Monday night, we spoke a little bit about short-term and long-term rental cycles. But, within the Australian rental market, there's a growing disparity, right, between kind of these have tenants and these have not tenants. And the have tenant, the have not tenant is kind of the person who, lives paycheck to paycheck and the trend we tend to find with the have not tenants is, there's affordability challenges. They generally rent properties that are in poorer condition. And what that actually brings on for that landlord in that particular scenario is, inconsistent payments, a lot more challenges around that tenancy. And, I've been doing this 15 years and I have managed all sorts of property, A grade to C grade, you name it. I've done it in various locations. And this is certainly a trend that continues to come up. And so when you look at the have-not tenants, you could identify that as perhaps a risky investment given some inconsistent payments, some tenancy challenges along the way, creating stress in your world in property investment. Whereas the have tenants, they are generally choosing property by choice. They're choosing it for flexibility. They're choosing it for convenience and lifestyle in particular. And these sorts of tenants tend to provide a more stable tendency throughout that process. And you'll start to find they'll, because of their stability of income, they'll provide you a stability lease, and then that'll provide you with some consistent income, and the money game's a little bit easier as well. I think, with the have tenants as well, they bring along a standard of care and maintenance to your property. Again, reducing the stress in your world. Jeff says, I must be exhausted. You know what, Jeff? I actually am. That's why I got to get a coffee after this. So thanks for pointing it out. That's for sure, mate. Hope you're well wherever you're tuning in from, Jeff. Good to see you as always. And Tim as well. Morning to you, mate. Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming along on Monday, mate. Awesome. Great to have you here as well. And so Landlordship team is about, understanding your tenant profiles, you have and you have not tenants. Because where you invest in your asset selection, that's what the 6-star team do really well. The acquisition team and your coaching team help you really well with your asset selection to give yourself that flexibility to target and attract those have tenants. When it comes to management, regulatory frameworks, minimum standards that Sam explains in his book, again, if you missed it, the Australian Property Game, go to Amazon and within 24 hours, it'll be at your doorstep. That's sure. But when it comes to management, right, it's about being active. It's about being proactive. It's about what I talk about, not having that transactional approach, actually producing a strategic approach. And that might take some effort and some time to have a think about it. And of course, find the right property manager that can help you execute that strategy. And you've got your 6-star team around you. But it's about that journey to help you go the distance, 15, 20 plus years. It's important that we do put the effort in. It's important that we adapt, take feedback, change tactics when we need to, play the money game along the way. Because when that journey becomes stressful, team, like I say, 50% of people sell after 2 years. And I would dare say a majority of those people are just giving up because of lack of strategy and a lot of stress in their life, which is not how we do property investment here at Positive, as they say, buy well, never sell. When you talk about regulatory frameworks, I mean, it's really good to understand as a landlord, the regulatory acts within your state or territory, they are just there to govern the relationship between you, the landlord, and the tenant, right? And then obviously your property manager is to help coordinate, facilitate, mediate that relationship through there. And obviously that act provides some governance and some direction around rights and responsibilities for both parties. We don't want sort of any unfair situations on both sides, even though I might have an opinion that it's a bit more pro-tenant these days. But at the end of the day, when done correctly and done really well strategically, not transactional, you then are able to create a fair and functional rental relationship between you and the tenant, which is awesome. Minimum standards, of course, I think we all know that that's coming into play a lot of the states and territories now. So I think we're all good with that. But I sort of had some tips here for good landlordship based on what I read and my interpretation from Sam's book, which I said download that, get a copy. And I wrote them down here just to make sure I get this across to you guys this morning. But tips for good landlordship, they talk about respecting the process and the people. I think it's super critical. I was on a Facebook page last night, a landlord's page in particular, and the amount of opinions, and I'm all for everyone having an opinion. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of opinions that were not factual was crazy. It was crazy. There was a situation where a landlord genuinely asked a question about a lease agreement. They obviously, it sounded like they were self-managing, so they were looking for some direction. And the amount of opinions and incorrect information that was given, only says to me that this landlord's probably going to put themselves in a worse position than they were when they posted the thing in the first place. So sometimes, we've got to be very aware of where this is coming from. So, when we talk about respect the process and the people, it's making sure you got the right team around you that you can trust. And number two, get the right insurance. I can't say it enough. Got a situation at the moment, potential new clients got a situation where bad tenancy's moved out. It's cost about $10,000 to rectify what went on at the property in regards to cleaning and damages and things like that. And obviously, as you can imagine, the bond didn't cover, the bond's not worth $10,000. I said, hey, listen, contact your insurer. They will cover X, Y, and Z. We went through it. To their response was, no, I didn't take out insurance. And, it was actually interesting. I wanted to understand the psychology behind why didn't you take out insurance? Was it you just weren't aware? You just didn't care? You didn't believe in it? You thought it was wrong? Someone gave you an opinion at your local barbecue to not do it? That wasn't a strategic approach from what I gather. And now it's cost $10,000 where I think you would have got majority of those funds back. So you've got to get the right insurance, and not in all insurance is the same. Number three, being a good landlord, and landlordship is about understanding and being really good at the 3 Ps: price, presentation, and promotion. So we're talking price realistically, but also strategically. Don't give it away, right? Presentation, right? First impression is last. Invest in good marketing. You're going to get that right. On Monday night, I shared literally one thing to do with virtual tools, and just get it done, team. So price, presentation, promotion. Yes, don't be a slumlord. Let's not neglect our properties. If you've got an older property, again, it's either about, do you need to adjust your strategy, or do we need to, do a significant renovation, get this property up to minimum standard? We can then extract a lot more return for our money in that respect. Know your tenants, team. Know your tenants. I'm not saying go and have a coffee with them. I'm not saying breach that relationship there, but your property manager, I want your property managers in the conversation that you have with them to get to know the tenants, because, fundamentally, when you think about it, you put a property on the market and you do a few open homes and you get some applications, but yes, we can see some things on a piece of paper and some ID and whatnot, and what we can ask, but geez, sounds, it's a little bit of a, you've got to take a calculated risk in that space, and there's some things, you can do that. So get to know your tenants, make sure your property manager is spending some time with them, getting to know them on a little bit more on a level rather than just what's on the application, and that will go a long way. If your tenant feels cared for, if the tenant is being provided with an experience in your property, which is their home at that particular time, they're going to feel that you care. They're going to feel like this is a place for me. They're going to feel like they want to stay longer. And what I do know after 15 years, when you've got great tenants and they stay longer, there's less wear and tear on the property, right? So there's less situations where you have to keep sending tradespeople out. Also, there's no reletting costs. If you can minimize your turnover, again, from an income level point of view, and that's my next point, is minimize that turnover. If you can create a good experience with your tenants and you know them really well, minimum turnover, less reletting costs for you. I mean, the average reletting cost, I think now, is probably $2,500, $3,000 every time you change your tenancy, whether you know it or not. You've got office letting fees, marketing. I mean, realestate.com, those guys increasing prices every 12 months. We know about that. You've got usually a vacancy period between one tenant moving out, one tenant moving in, right? For every day that it's not occupied, you're not generating, a dollar on that day. So minimize your turnover, be proactive. There's certain bits of tech and strategies that, can help your property manager be proactive. But like I say, stay involved and ultimately choose the right property manager. I think your property manager is going to have a positive or a negative influence on what you're doing. And when I was scrolling through these Facebook pages last night, it was actually something interesting. Some of these comments were coming from property managers, and I tend to wonder how they actually are property managers, right? What's a property manager by definition? But this is why 50% of people, I think, investors sell after 2 years. Negative influence, a lot of stress, no strategy, and we tend to just give up and it all becomes too hard. So don't let that be you. That's what the 6-star team is here for. That's why we do Wealth Coffee Chats, to give you guys some information around that. So yes, that is where we're at today. But as always, listen, if you have any questions, if you guys want me to cover any particular topics, any challenges you're going through at the moment, anything you want to learn or know, please, I am open to that feedback down below in the comments section or on your screen. You'll see my email address there. Just shoot me a topic, and we'll certainly have a chat about it over the next few weeks. We always got some good stuff. I might continue on with my Australian property game because next week there's still some more rental stuff in here I want to cover with you guys. So I think it's page 350 odd. So yes, go to Amazon, I'm plugging Sam's book, and yes, we can all know more, which is good. Knowledge is power. So that's it for me, team. Wealth Coffee Chats done and done. Tanya, welcome along. Hope you enjoyed your first Wealth Coffee Chat. Hopefully see you tomorrow at 8:10. The financial planning team will be on, guys. And they will, I'm sure, bring the goods of what we all need to know in their world. So that is me. You guys have a good Wednesday. Thanks for playing full out. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-star team here at positivementor.com.au.